Hi, excuse me. Are you Alex? I was told you could help me practice English for renting an apartment. I'm looking for a new place to live.
Hi, yes, I am Alex. Nice to meet you, Sophia. I would be happy to help you practice today.
Thank you so much. I feel a little nervous because I want to speak clearly and ask the right questions. This apartment building looks nice, so I want to learn useful sentences here.
That is a very good idea. We can use this building as a real example. I will say simple questions and answers, and you can repeat them with confidence.
Great! First, how can I ask about the rent in a simple way? I want a sentence that is easy to remember. I do not want to sound too formal.
You can say, "How much is the rent per month?" That is clear and natural. You can also say, "What is the monthly rent for this apartment?"
Let me try. How much is the rent per month? And maybe I can ask, is the rent the same every month? I think that sounds useful too.
Yes, that sounds very good. Both questions are simple and correct. A landlord or agent will understand you easily.
What if I want to ask about the size of the apartment? Sometimes I want one bedroom, but sometimes I think a studio is enough. I want to know how to ask both.
You can say, "How many bedrooms does it have?" If it is a studio, you can ask, "Is it a studio or a one-bedroom apartment?" Those are common and useful questions.
I see. Then I can say, how many bedrooms does it have? And, is it a studio or a one-bedroom apartment? These questions sound easy enough for me to remember.
Exactly. You are doing very well already. When you speak slowly and clearly, simple questions work best.
Now I want to ask about furniture. Some apartments have a bed, a table, and a sofa, but some are empty. How can I ask that in easy English?
You can ask, "Is the apartment furnished?" That is the easiest question. If you want more details, you can say, "Does it come with a bed, a table, and kitchen appliances?"
That is very helpful. I like the word furnished because it is short and useful. If the apartment is not furnished, I will need to buy many things, and that can be expensive.
That is true. Furniture can cost a lot, especially when you move for the first time. So it is smart to ask that question early.
I also worry about electricity and water bills. Sometimes the rent looks cheap, but the extra costs are high. What can I say to ask about utilities?
You can ask, "Are utilities included in the rent?" That is a very important question. You can also ask, "Do I pay extra for electricity, water, and internet?"
Let me say that again. Are utilities included in the rent? And do I pay extra for electricity, water, and internet? I think these questions are very practical.
Yes, they are. Many renters ask these exact questions. It helps you understand the full monthly cost before you make a decision.
What about the location? I want a place near the city center, but I also want it to be quiet and safe. How can I ask about that without using difficult words?
You can ask, "Is the apartment in a safe area?" That is simple and direct. You can also ask, "Is it close to shops, public transport, and the city center?"
That sounds good. I often need a bus stop nearby because I do not drive every day. So asking about public transport is very important for me.
Then you can also say, "How far is the bus stop from here?" Or, "Is there a train station nearby?" These questions are easy and useful in daily life.
I like that. Now I want to ask about the kitchen and bathroom too. When I move somewhere new, I want both rooms to be clean and in good condition.
Of course, you can say, "Does it have a private bathroom?" And, "Is the kitchen fully equipped?" Those are common questions when people visit an apartment.
Does it have a private bathroom? And is the kitchen fully equipped? Yes, I can use both. I think these lines will sound natural in my video.
They will sound very natural. They are also easy for English learners to understand. That is perfect for your practice.
Sometimes I hear people ask about the deposit. I know it is money you pay before moving in, but I am not sure how to ask. Can you teach me a simple sentence for that?
Yes, you can ask, how much is the deposit? That is the most direct way. You can also ask, do I get the deposit back at the end of the lease?
Ah, that is important. Some people forget to ask that second question. I want to remember both because they can save a lot of trouble later.
Very true. A deposit is a big part of renting, so it is good to ask clearly. If you understand the rules early, you can avoid problems.
Now I want to ask about the lease. Maybe I want to stay for 6 months or maybe 1 year. What is the easiest way to talk about that?
You can say, how long is the lease? That is simple and correct. If you want, you can add, can I rent it for 6 months, or is it only for 1 year?
That is easy to understand. I also want to know if I can move in soon. Sometimes the apartment looks great, but it is not available yet.
Good point. You can ask, when is the apartment available? Or, when can I move in? These are very common questions during a viewing.
I feel more confident now, but I still want to practice a full short conversation. Like I am speaking to a real landlord. Can we do that together?
Yes, absolutely. I will act like the landlord, and you ask your questions. Keep your voice calm, friendly, and clear.
Hello, I am interested in this apartment. How much is the rent per month and how many bedrooms does it have?
Hello. The rent is $900 per month, and it has 1 bedroom. It also has a small living room and a separate kitchen.
That sounds nice. Is the apartment furnished? Also, are utilities included in the rent?
Yes, it is partly furnished. It comes with a bed, a sofa, a table, and a fridge. Water is included, but electricity and internet are not included.
I understand. Is it in a safe area? And is it close to public transport and shops?
Yes, it is in a quiet and safe neighborhood. There is a bus stop 2 minutes away, and a supermarket is across the street.
Great. How much is the deposit and how long is the lease?
The deposit is 1 month's rent. The lease is usually 1 year, but a 6-month lease may be possible.
That was very helpful. I think the role play made everything clearer for me. I can now imagine asking these questions in real life.
I am glad to hear that. You sounded polite and natural. With a little more practice, you will speak even more smoothly.
Before we finish, I want to ask one more thing. If I like the place, how can I ask to see it inside? I want a simple sentence for that, too.
You can say, can I take a look inside? That is friendly and natural. You can also say, can I schedule a viewing for this apartment?
Perfect. And if I want more time to decide, maybe I can say, can I think about it and get back to you tomorrow? That sounds polite to me.
Yes, that is excellent. It sounds respectful and clear. You are using very practical English now.
Thank you, Alex. Today I learned how to ask about rent, rooms, furniture, utilities, location, deposit, and lease terms. I feel much more ready to speak English when I look for a new home.
You are welcome, Sophia. You did a great job, and your questions were smart and clear. I hope you find a comfortable apartment soon, and keep practicing your English every day.